Alright, it's been a while since I've done a welding video. Working on a project for my brother-in-law, a Fire Grate. All the tube you see here is an 1.5 inch square block. The whole thing, except for these little retainers, and they're 3/8. I'm doing this with my MiG 135 Lincoln flux core. And I want to do a double pass on these because I'm not going to weld the bottom side underneath, because those will just get destroyed, I figure, anyway. So anyway, I've got it welded up, most of it, single passed. It weighs about 110 pounds, and I know that a 135 amp machine really isn't going to do much, or at least you'd think, but really the only thing I'm doing here is just making sure these stay down. And this 3/8 here, you can see I just got it tacked on, but I've welded some 3/8 stuff with this 135, and it's held for everything that I've wanted it to hold for, so I am not a bit afraid of these things not staying tacked on. Anyway, these things go online, similar to this, for around 400 bucks. It's kind of crazy because I've probably got 80 in this, 120 pound of steel probably. It's about 60 bucks if you can find it as drops, which is what I did here. Totally lucked out that this was out there. I had no intentions of going 1.5 inches. I was going to go 1 inch or 1.25 inches, but when you go to the steel shop and that's what they got laying there for drops, I think you're crazy not to jump on that. Anyway, it's a pretty good little project. You can see I've got a nice curve along the back. Got another nice curve here in the front. 16 inches long each one of the bars are. It's a 5-inch piece of 3/8 that goes up for a retainer, and it probably sticks up right about 4 inches above the bar. The bottom bar here, these 6 bars, are about 6 inches from the ground, and I just used the same bar for the legs. I put 6 legs on it, 3 in the back, 3 in the front. The legs are pretty straight. This one here in the front and the one in the back are a little tilted, but I've only got them tacked on, so I'm sure that I'll be able to pull them a little bit, because that's one thing I have noticed, is that even with this heavy bar, it will move when you go to tacking stuff. Like, that welders provide enough heat and enough draw, I'm going to call it, to actually draw down. So you're working on this, something like this, and you do not have a jig, just go side to side. You can see this back one needs to go that way. So the first thing I'll do whenever I go to finish welding it is I'll start on this back side here, and that should pull it the way I want it to go. Like I said, I've done that a lot with this project so far, that welder pulling things and straightening them. So whichever way you need it to go, look and see which way you need it to go and weld it that way. Like I said, a little 135 amp MiG there, the Eastwood MiG 135. I have built a whole lot of stuff with that joker. There you can see my cut 60. Power company will be here next week to get my 220 hooked up, so I can take off and start doing some stuff with that. I also have the Eastwood 30-gallon compressor. You can see right now I'm plugged in 110 with it, but whenever I get the 220 in here, I'll flip that thing over. Very happy with everything that I've gotten from Eastwood. Some of it has some real fancy Chinese writing on it, but I'm a hobbyist. I do not do professional stuff, and if you do a cost-benefit analysis on buying Eastwood with the 3-year warranty, it really doesn't make any sense to get anything else, because my customer service with these folks has been amazing. Their products have really stood up to what I expected them to do and then surpassed it. So if you're looking for some economically priced equipment, do not be afraid to visit those guys online. They do not pay me to do videos. I pay them to use their stuff. So anyway, there it is. Not much is going to change. This will be the last video on this project, but again, about 120, 110 pound Fire Grate using 1.5 inch steel solid stock. And that Eastwood's been burning that stuff down. I've been getting good welds. There's no porosity. You can see right there a little hump, and that's where I went over my tack. Yes, that's one thing I still need to learn. You can see my tacks, just making my tacks a bit too big, but anyway, the slag and all the soot and crap just comes right off. I'm really impressed. I don't think we're going to have any problems, because everything else that I've built with this welder has stood up. But you can see my seams I still need to do on the legs. But yeah, very happy with this thing. Very happy. 24 across the front, 20 across the back, spaced out evenly. And whenever I get my plasma cutter, I'll probably add him a little pizzazz to that thing. But all right, 8 minutes, it's long enough.